On this weekly injection, we talk about loudness. Number 1, what is loudness? Loudness is how loud you can get a track before you need to actually reach for the volume knob. There is a competition from producers and record labels to who can get the loudest master so that when it's played along other tracks, sounds better or fatter or bigger. Loudness is not everything. Remember, loudness is a trade-off. If you want more dynamic movement, you need to be quieter. If you don't need so much dynamic movement, then you can be louder. Number 2, recording. Loudness starts with good recorded material or with well-selected material. If you're selecting samples for the kick drum, for the snare drum, or for anything else, make sure you select good quality samples to begin with. If it's a recording, make sure you have a good instrument, you have a good player, you have a good microphone, a good pre, and hopefully a good room. Loudness is not something that you can achieve with one move. It is the results of all the steps of production being done correctly. Number 3, compress in stages. You cannot expect to slam a compressor or a limiter on a track and magically becomes loud as a commercial release. It doesn't work like that. You have to compress little by little at different stages of your mix until you get to the desired loudness. So if you have a kick drum, you might want to compress it a little bit on that channel, a little bit on the drum bus, a little bit on the mix bus, and a little bit on the mastering chain. When it comes to loudness, you have to divide and conquer your compression. If you want something to be loud, you have to make sure you divide your compression in stages. Number 4, perceived loudness. The human ear is designed to hear better the mid frequencies. That's how our speech was developed. Our voice takes place in the mid frequencies mostly. So if you want to increase the sensation of loudness, just turn up the mids, but do it tastefully and carefully. Number 5, filter the low end. You don't need low end on all of the instruments. You certainly don't need it on a tambourine, but you might still get noises from the tambourine microphone, and that might create some unwanted noise in the low end. Filter out that low end. Make sure that you're using the low end for just the stuff that matters, like bass and kick drum. That will clear off the mud and make sure that the bass information is delivered. Number 6, make low-end decisions. You have to decide whether it's the kick the most important part of the low end or if it's the bass the most important part of the low end. Make a clear decision about who's gonna cover what in your arrangement so that then you can push the whole arrangement forward. 7, saturation. Loudness is also how aggressive a piece of music sounds. So if you have some rock music but there is not enough grit to it, then you might want to choose to add some saturation. There are lots of plugins to do that. Saturation will make your master sound screamy, and that will convey the sense of loudness. Number 8, choose a good limiter. The limiter is the last step in your mastering chain, and that's what's going to determine ultimately the level of loudness of your track. Don't overdo it. Don't pull down on that limiter and slam everything in the mix. You have to remember that impact is a good balance of transience and loudness. Finding a good balance between dynamics and loudness is the key to an impactful mix. I hope these few tips give you enough inspiration to dig deeper into the subject of loudness, which is very important nowadays. We have lots of podcasts, articles on our blog page, and we also talk about it in our course, The Official Guide to Mixing, which you can get by clicking on one of the links in the description. I never know where the description is. You figured that out. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.